There's a very good chance that the president will make an announcement before Christmas.
So who did Mark Capellas buy this exchange from? Well, he bought it from a guy called Jeb McCaleb. Who's Jeb McCaleb? He was the creator of a token called XRP.
Of course, at the time, the least of my thoughts was, how will this hold up over the next decade?
They were telling me they are now looking at allocation of 5% in crypto.
They try to shake me out, but I was born ready. Dropping down the price, then I'll be getting plenty. They want all your bags and they want all them empty.
We have a pre-Christmas shocker. Also, the big boys are buying
XRP.
crypto. But first, we got silver on the surge as crypto is dumping. Welcome back to some more Moon O'Clock news, good glitches, and as always, nothing in this video is financial or investment advice. Please always do your own research. We got another extra bullish update for you. Breaking silver prices surged to $58 an ounce for the first time in history. Now officially up 100% in 2025. Crypto Eddie, here's one opinion: digital asset treasuries. What do you think?
I would say there are great DATs and then ones that probably won't work. And not that they're bad, it's just each currency only needs 1 or 2 DATs. Maybe you don't need 20 more Bitcoin DATs. Michael Saylor's doing a great job. He's got a long-term track record of being good at, his company has a track record of being good at what it's doing. So I would say that I would imagine in the long run, each currency would have only 1 or 2 very well-run, reputable, large DATs, and then the smaller ones will get rolled up.
We got a couple from David Schwartz, VetXO. That's why I don't believe in a pre-planned / done deal XRP ledger theories.
Of course, at the time, the least of my thoughts was, how will this hold up over the next decade, right? Because like at the time, it was like you jumped out of an airplane with hoping you have everything you need to make a parachute, you know? Because like you have a certain amount of time, you have very little money, you have only so much credibility, you only have an office for another, 2 months, and we had to get things working. And half the time we would build things and throw them out because they weren't the right thing. So you don't want to build something fantastically and they're like, oh, actually, we should have built this other thing, throw that out. And you spent 12 hours perfecting it. And if you look at the early GitHub, the GitHub repository is public. You can look at the early stages where like Arthur and I committed multiple times a day. And we were basically using the GitHub like email. We left, it's all there. So you can see how rapid our progress was in early 2012. It was crazy.
Another one from Joel Katz, VetXO. Our technology was uniquely positioned for an asset exchange.
And Arthur mostly realized that you could have an asset exchange, that you didn't want to have an asset exchange if you had a block producer, because the block producer could reorder transactions to their advantage. They could not, if there was some offer that was at a price that turned out to be too high or too low because the asset price moved, the person who produced the block could take that profit for themselves. They might not let you cancel an offer. They might let you place only the best offers for them and then take them, insert their own transaction and take them. So we realized in 2012 that because you could not do that, our technology was uniquely suitable for an asset exchange. And so we took some inspiration from some work that Ryan Fugger did back in 2004. We created issued assets, which were basically the first stable coins. We created the first DEX with what we now call the DEX. And we built a sort of multi-asset ledger.
It's bigger than you think. XIF crypto. Ripple has been building the internet of value since day one, and moments like this prove it. ME announced a new Ripple partnership with Malaysia's Universal Bank, CIMB. It's been unfolding since day one.
Actually, today I'm very, very excited to announce the CIMB, which is the second largest Malaysian bank and 5th largest ASEAN bank in ASEAN. They joined RippleNet and is going live with their new innovative remittance service called SpeedSend.
Yeah.
They partner with Instagram.
With Instagram,
yes. And now initially they are sending payments from Malaysia to Australia by expanding into 15 different markets using Ripple's technology real time. So those innovative banks like CIMB is building applications on top of our kind of plumbing and infrastructure.
Digital asset investor, if you want to understand the history of Bitcoin and XRP, this version shows you why they hate Ripple and XRP so much. The elites want you out.
Now, Charlie Shrem was put down in prison for engaging in what he pleaded guilty to money laundering because people used his platform in order to purchase purchase drugs on a dark website via an exchange called Mt. Gox. Now, Mt. Gox had a member on the Bitcoin Foundation that was a French guy that lived in Japan called Mark Capellis. Now, Mark Capellis, he bought Mt. Gox. He didn't create Mt. Gox. And he bought it, and it was missing when he purchased it 80,000 Bitcoin. Now, he didn't know when he purchased the exchange that it was missing 80,000 Bitcoin. And so he later went back to the person that he purchased it from and said, where is the 80,000 Bitcoin that we owe to our customers? Because what happens when you create an exchange? You create fractional reserve Bitcoin. You create paper representatives. People that thought they had Bitcoin on Mt. Gox, in fact, had an IOU, which is a centralized database. Now, the underlying Bitcoin, you cannot fractionally reserve. But once you put it in an exchange, you create paper Bitcoin. So who did Mark Capellis buy this exchange from? Well, he bought it from a guy called Jeb McCaleb. Who's Jeb McCaleb? He was the creator of a token called XRP, who essentially took that token and sold it to a bunch of companies or a company that was part of the banking network. And so the bank started creating competition to Swift and ended up with approximately 60% of this XRP token in a company called Ripple Labs. Full disclosure, I was investing in fintech at the time, and Ripple Labs was one of the companies I later invested in. Over time, I didn't want to support the banking system. And so whenever I can exit those shares, I exit those shares. I've been cleansing myself of these shares because I want to remain independent. I don't want to have to bow down to a shareholder's agenda. But obviously the shareholders can influence the companies when you understand corporate governance.
Meanwhile, Bitcoin Magazine Justin Tomley predicts Bitcoin could hit a new all-time high January.
Do you think you'd be happy with 100 if it got back by the end of December, wouldn't you?
Yeah, in fact, I think it was looking good, like you said, over the weekend, and then we got a decline, sorry. Maybe because the Bank of Japan looks hawkish.
Yeah.
But I don't think the 4-year cycle, I don't think the Bitcoin high is in place. But you're right, we were too optimistic about this happening by December, but I do think Bitcoin can make an all-time high by the end of January. So I don't think we should think the highs are in place for Bitcoin or Ethereum or crypto. So a lot of it's going to depend on equities recovering, which we expect it to, and that helps the animal spirits. And I think a new Fed chair will help. And we have, as Becky said, when people got worried about a hawkish Fed, that kind of hurts the discount models, the discounted cash flow models like AI models, but it hurts crypto models too. So if we have a dovish Fed, that's really a tailwind.
Scott Besnet just teased a pre-Christmas shocker. Strap in December might be bigger than anyone expects.
Andrew, I'm still got one interview left, so I don't think it would be prudent to give any hints. And I think that there's a very good chance that the president will make an announcement before Christmas. But it's his prerogative whether it's before the Christmas holidays in the New Year's. But things are moving along very well.
And Vivek, for real, 1 trillion UBS banks said their rich clients are now buying Bitcoin and crypto. It's happening.
Alternative is not just private market, and also hedge fund, commodity, and crypto. Interestingly, recently when I talked to some of the traditional family offices, they were telling me they are now looking at allocation of 5% in crypto. That's the reason why even traditional banks like us, I have to make sure we get our platform ready to take on this opportunity. So I think definitely opportunity. Yeah.
Also, a couple more days on your Black Friday specials. Diversify your wallets. Don't keep all your eggs in one basket. Check the links in the description. Appreciate you stopping by, tuning in for another Moon O'Clock News Update. Good glitches. As always, nothing in this video is financial or investment advice. We'll see you at the tippy top. Smash some likes and subscribe. Later, glitches.
Later, glitches.
Started. We just getting it 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 started now. Hey. We just getting it started now. Hey. Bags going way up, way up, way up.
just getting dummy rich, we dummy rich. The best is yet to come and you missed the switch. 589 pumping and it's not a glitch, we dummy rich. Whole family dummy rich, got dummy hits. Them prices blowing minds, feel like that gummy hit. The news was spreading lies and we went and did the opposite. They said it couldn't happen, now watch some profits lit. We was prophesizing like some prophets here. Looking like you ain't had the prize, Bitcoin maxi tears. DeFi in the bags, climbing up a tier. Feel like Santa Claus, stuffing bags, vendors flying high. See you in